think the guy who fathered Eric and Don Jr. would know how to handle jokes, but I guess not.
On Jimmy Kimmel Live, the late-night host and his team took aim at Donald Trump with a series of sharp-witted jokes, poking fun at his marriage, family, and personal flaws. The segment, filled with Kimmel's signature humor, seemed to get under Trump's skin in a big way, leading to a heated back and forth between them. What started as a comedic roast quickly turned into a full-blown feud, grabbing national attention. Trump, never one to ignore criticism, especially from Hollywood, fired back angrily, escalating the situation even further. The exchange became so intense that it reportedly caught the attention of officials inside the White House, turning a late-night comedy bit into yet another unexpected political spectacle.
I had like 80 texts when I woke up sending me this article from Rolling Stone. It says, Trump White House pressured Disney to censor Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel kicked off his show with a shocking revelation. Back in 2018, during Trump's presidency, the White House actually reached out to Disney, the parent company of ABC, which airs Jimmy Kimmel Live. The reason? They wanted Disney to rein him in after Trump grew increasingly frustrated with Kimmel's relentless mockery. According to Kimmel, the White House wasn't just complaining, they expected Disney to take action and put an end to the jokes. This unexpected behind-the-scenes move set the tone for the night, immediately heightening the drama and turning what should have been just another comedy monologue into a headline-grabbing moment.
The report says at least 2 calls were made from the Trump White House to, quote, convey the president's anger regarding Kimmel's monologues and jabs. In other words, President Karen demanded to speak to my manager.
Kimmel, never one to back down, immediately turned the situation into comedy gold, mocking Trump's childish behavior of demanding to speak to the manager whenever something didn't go his way. He pointed out the absurdity of a sitting president using government resources to silence a late-night comedian simply because he couldn't handle being the butt of a few jokes. This wasn't just about one incident, it was a pattern. Kimmel used the moment to highlight Trump's long history of being hypersensitive to even the smallest criticisms, showing how easily he could be rattled by something as harmless as a monologue. Bringing things to the present, Kimmel noted that not much has changed. Reports suggest that Trump, now back in the White House, is once again ranting about late-night hosts, frequently complaining about comedians like Stephen Colbert, Saturday Night Live, and of course Kimmel himself. It seems that even with all the responsibilities of the presidency, Trump's obsession with late-night comedy remains as strong as ever.
He's a blowhard and a snowflake. He's a blowflake is what he is. He should change the hats to say Make America Wine Again, Mawa.
Kimmel took his jabs a step further, even sarcastically suggesting that late-night comedians' jokes should be classified as official campaign donations to the Democratic Party. The implication was clear. Trump doesn't just see humor as harmless entertainment, he sees it as a direct political threat. The overarching theme of the show was that Trump fears comedy not because it's offensive, but because it exposes him. Instead of brushing off jokes like most politicians, he treats them as attacks on his power. Kimmel didn't stop there. He also took aim at Trump's personal life, cracking jokes about his marriage, private affairs, and rumored secrets. No topic was off limits, and as always, the more Trump fumed, the funnier it got.
Melania sleep in separate bedrooms. She was laughing too hard at my monologue at night.
Kimmel didn't just stick to politics, he dove into Trump's personal life, focusing particularly on his marriage to Melania. One of the more eye-catching claims was the long-rumored idea that the couple sleeps in separate bedrooms. With his signature humor, Kimmel took the joke further, suggesting that Melania refuses to share a bed with Trump because his snoring is unbearable, describing it as a mix between a freight train, a chainsaw, and a bagpipe. The audience burst into laughter at the thought of Melania trying to sleep through the chaos of Trump's nighttime noise. Kimmel didn't stop there. He added another layer to the joke, suggesting that Melania actively drowns out the sound by wearing noise-canceling headphones just to get some rest. While clearly meant to be funny, these jokes played into a widespread perception that their relationship is strained, a stark contrast to the polished image they project in public. But beyond the humor, Kimmel used the segment to highlight Trump's well-documented sensitivity to jokes. He painted an image of Trump sitting at Mar-a-Lago, face red with anger, furiously watching the show unfold. To emphasize just how much Trump despises being mocked, Kimmel reminded viewers of his past overreactions to comedy, such as his infamous attempt to sue comedian Bill Maher over a joke comparing him to an orangutan. The message was clear. Trump doesn't just dislike jokes, he sees them as personal attacks. And if history is any indication, he won't be laughing about this one anytime soon.
Santa Claus got up bright and early to post 165 venomous words about yours truly. And stupid Jimmy Kimmel. We're off to a good start.
Kimmel seems to have accomplished exactly what he set out to do: get under Trump's skin. According to the show, instead of relaxing with his family, Trump spent part of his day off furiously typing out a 165-word rant about Kimmel online. Kimmel couldn't have been more pleased with the reaction. He pointed out that, as expected, Trump immediately fell back on his usual tactics, resorting to insults, childish name-calling, and accusations of fake news the moment he faced criticism. With Trump unable to ignore the jokes, Kimmel got the last laugh, proving once again that nothing bothers Trump more than being made fun of.
Of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah.
Trump has frequently lashed out at Kimmel on social media, repeatedly calling him not funny, dismissing his strong ratings, and accusing him of being politically biased. But Kimmel was quick to set the record straight. Not only were Trump's claims about his ratings false, but his show had actually gained viewers. Throughout the episode, Kimmel mocked Trump's predictable reactions, joking that as the show aired, Trump was probably furiously typing angry tweets, shouting at the TV, and pacing around Mar-a-Lago. The joke, of course, was that a former president was so fixated on a late-night comedian while far more important issues existed. But things got even stranger when Trump made a vague, almost theatrical threat, suggesting that he might reveal secrets about Kimmel. Rather than instilling fear, this immediately became comedy gold. The internet erupted with jokes, with people speculating about what exactly Trump thought he knew and whether it would be anything more than his usual empty bluster. In the end, Kimmel's entire point was proven. Trump, despite all his power, simply cannot take a joke. His thin skin and lack of humor were on full display, and his bizarre attempt to expose Kimmel only made things funnier.
Take your time. Then after the medical emergency happened in his head, there was some kind of medical emergency in the room.
Kimmel then brought up another bizarre quirk about Trump, his alleged fear of stairs. Over the years, videos have circulated online showing Trump moving cautiously down ramps and staircases, often gripping railings tightly or taking slow, careful steps. This has led to widespread speculation. Is he unsteady, overly cautious, or just secretly terrified of falling? Kimmel took this minor observation and ran with it, joking that Trump actively avoids stairs whenever possible. He painted a hilarious imaginary scene in which Trump, one hand gripping a railing for dear life, furiously typed on his phone with the other, probably to insist that he has the best balance and can walk downstairs perfectly fine. This segment was a perfect example of Kimmel's ability to take the smallest detail and exaggerate it into a full-blown personality flaw. What started as a minor observation became a full comedic bit, making the entire discussion even more ridiculous. Now, before we continue with this story,
I should be honored that the former president of the United States took time out of his busy schedule Googling Ivanka in bikini to rant about me, but he must not get how much I love this. It doesn't even add up.
Despite the show's lighthearted and comedic tone, there was also a serious undertone to Kimmel's segment. It wasn't just about Trump being thin-skinned, it was about how he seemed to want revenge on late-night comedians for making fun of him. Kimmel referenced a Rolling Stone article that revealed Trump had once tried to use government power to go after late-night comedy shows like Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Kimmel Live. According to the report, Trump even floated the idea of having the Justice Department investigate whether jokes about him violated campaign finance laws. A laughable but also alarming suggestion. At the time, his own staff ignored the ridiculous idea, understanding that it had no legal basis and was completely unserious. However, Kimmel pointed out that in 2024, Trump was still bringing up the same old grievances, and there were reports that he had once again suggested taking action against comedians. For Kimmel, this was both hilarious and deeply unsettling. The idea that a former and possibly future president would go to such absurd lengths just to stop people from making fun of him. While it was easy to joke about, the fact that Trump viewed comedy as a threat serious enough to try and weaponize the government against it was something worth paying attention to.
Dumb son of a dumb son of a.
When he does that move, that's when he's farting. Just keep that in mind.
As the show wrapped up, Kimmel took a moment to reflect on his long-running feud with Trump. He pointed out an ironic truth. Despite Trump's efforts to project strength and dominance, he often comes across as deeply insecure and desperate for validation. Kimmel's jokes weren't just about Trump's appearance or personal quirks. They highlighted a much bigger issue: Trump's obsession with his own image over actual leadership. Instead of focusing on real policy matters, Trump seemed to spend an alarming amount of time attacking attacking comedians, proving once again that he struggles to handle even the mildest criticism. As the episode closed, Kimmel left viewers with an important message. In the face of figures like Trump, laughter is one of the best tools people have. No matter how many lawsuit threats, angry social media posts, or press conference rants Trump throws at comedians, humor will always win. This episode was just another chapter in the ongoing battle between Jimmy Kimmel Live and Trump, a battle in which, no matter how many tweets Trump fires off, Kimmel always seems to have the last laugh.
You were on the ticket with him last time around.
Well, Martha, I appreciate the question.
This episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live went far beyond simple mockery of Trump. It was a well-crafted takedown of his deep insecurities and obsession with controlling his public image. Kimmel didn't just poke fun at Trump's mannerisms or quirks. He exposed a larger pattern: Trump's constant need for validation and his inability to tolerate criticism. Throughout the show, Kimmel painted a picture of a man who simply cannot take a joke, someone who sees every joke at his expense as a personal attack. From rumored personal struggles to his humorless and defensive nature, Kimmel highlighted the ways in which Trump's ego drives his actions, often at the expense of more important issues. In the end, the episode was as revealing as it was entertaining, offering viewers not just laughs, but also a deeper look at how Trump views himself and the world around him.
The matter is that people who support Trump and the MAGA agenda are under the impression that America was founded on the idea of excluding those who do not share your beliefs, which is the opposite.
No matter how angry Trump gets at late-night hosts like Kimmel, one thing is certain: comedians aren't going anywhere. As long as Trump keeps providing endless material, Kimmel and others will keep the jokes coming. This ongoing feud highlights an important truth: the best way to deal with someone like Trump isn't fear, it's laughter. The more he rages against comedy, the more obvious it becomes that he just can't take the joke. What do you think about Jimmy Kimmel taking shots at the Trump family again? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.